Hello, Dr. Brandon Vaughn, that tie-dye guy, coming to you talking about how we overcome feeling overwhelmed. Today, we're getting out of what we should think to do this and actually what we do. So, essential doing part one. Let me give you 5 things you should try to implement in your life that will help you overcoming feeling overwhelmed. Number one, we said this many episodes, breathe. Sometimes, and science proves this, much research on this, centering yourself and just closing your eyes and breathing or going and taking a walk can really help you overcome feeling overwhelmed. Just the physical nature of it, even just closing your eyes and just breathing helps. I mentioned this many episodes ago. I'm not sprinkling magic dust on you and giving you some crazy thing. It works. This is just stuff that we have to do. Doesn't necessarily mean meditation, although that's great if you want to do that. It's just sometimes you've got to get away from it. This is a big thing to do. Number two is multitask. What? You should multitask? Oh my goodness, no. You should not multitask. Multitasking is a myth. We do this all the time where we do things and we switch back and forth in this. If you don't believe me, then do a little experiment where you write out each letter of the sentence, I am a great multitasker, and you write out the numbers, say 1 through 20, and you go back and forth. Do this. I, 1, A, 2, M, 3. Do the same thing, but don't go back and forth. Just do one thing at a time. You'll find that most likely you double the amount of speed when you keep switching back and forth. The reason why we feel overwhelmed many, many times is because we're trying to do more than one thing at a time. Quit doing that. Stop it. Do one thing at a time. Do it to your best ability. Focus on something else. You want to feel overwhelmed? Try to do more than one thing at a time. Quit doing that. Quit multitasking. Number 3, create margin in our life. I don't know about you, but every time I pick up a book and I read this book and a page, it has margin, and we like margin. We like spaces. The thing I always hate, it's very rare to see, is when it's word for word all the way across. There's no space. It's just crammed full. We feel overwhelmed if we don't create margin in our life. We need space. We can't do it all. We said this last episode, our thinking, we can't think we can do it all. We have limited resources. Create margin in your life. Create places where you can get away from it, where you have time off, where you take a break every 5 or 10 minutes. Get up and take a walk. Breathe. Do something, but create space where you're not cramming it full of doing stuff over and over and over again. If you're a stay-at-home parent, you might need to get someone to watch your kids for just a few minutes so you can go out and take a walk and get some space in your life. That little bit can help a lot. And if you don't do that, if you're cramming it full, this is what you're going to see in your life. Number 4, horizontal priorities. In other words, don't stack your priorities vertically. This is related in a sense to multitasking, where we put all of our priorities on top of each other and we obsess with them all at the same time as they're one big stack of priorities. Instead, think of your priorities in life more horizontally. You work on one, then you move to another. And get in the habit, again, of quit multitasking. Quit trying to do more than one thing at the same time. Be focused on doing one thing, moving to the next one, then moving to the next one, instead of trying to stack them. The more you can horizontal prioritize your life, the better off you'll be, the less of this you will feel. Number 5, something simple. Write it down. We're in this age sometimes where we just think about stuff, and I feel overwhelmed, and I try to get in my head and challenge my thinking. We said you should do that, but my thoughts just race, and they're all over the place, and I'm like, what can I do? I can't seem to stop it. Here's a secret. If you start writing down how you're feeling, journaling it, you will find your thoughts start slowing down. Because something unique about our makeup is that when we do single tasks, see, this is a good thing to overcome overwhelm when it comes to the things we do, but to slow down our rapid thinking, you add an extra element like writing it down physically, it slows your mind and it helps you process it. Not only that, but it helps you get it out. It helps you focus on what you can control. In fact, you might need to actually extend this, and we'll talk about this. But in the very least, you might have to speak it out loud. Don't just always keep it in your thoughts. Sometimes I'll be driving and my thoughts are so overwhelming that I'll just start saying, now wait a minute. And I'll literally say it out loud. Sometimes you have to speak it out loud, or better yet, write it down. Because if you write it down, you can revisit it a year, 5 years later and say, oh, I remember when I went through that. I'm going through something similar now. I see that I'm not so weird after all. I learned how I dealt with it then. I could apply it here. Writing it down will help you chronicle your life, make it better for you. Something to think about. The biggest thing, though, whether you speak it or you write it, sometimes you have to do that extra thing in order to quiet down all of that thinking. And this is something you can do to overcome this. Do not keep it bottled in. That's the big secret. Hope this helps. As always, go out today, live your life with passion, intention, and purpose. Your life is an occasion. Rise to it.
Clock ticking the rest of your life. Why waste